As I mentioned earlier, we're today in a very special place, the 6th of October panorama. And while moving to this place, we have looked around to see the memories of this special day, and also to see the names of the soldiers and officers who lost their lives for the cause of the Egyptians, and to have such a victorious day that we're celebrating for the 40th anniversary on the 6th of October. And definitely in the memory of those who lost their lives, we are dedicating this edition, and we are having this edition with also heroes of this important and victorious day that made a change in everybody's life and every Egyptian's life. So I'm joined with one of the October War heroes, Major General Magdy, and he's also a historian and strategist. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, sir.
The pleasure is mine.
It's, as usual, good to have you, and definitely at the beginning, being one of the most important people who had played a very important role in this victorious war. Like every other soldier, like every other officer, would like to take your view at the beginning, just to start to listen to the story one more time.
We would like to start from the President Sadat when he took the rule of Egypt while Egypt was defeated during the war. For the first time in history, of the old history of this country, that the Israelis or the Jews defeated the Egyptians. This is fact. This was a big catastrophe in the history of the Egyptian Horus army. So, Sadat, the armed forces scattered, exhausted our enemy by scattered the army around the country. So it's a long land which we were prepared and re-equipped with weapons, what we lost in 1967, June 1967, and we have been trained quite well, the Egyptian army, and put the strategy of putting anti-aircraft all along the Suez Canal front. After that, he pushed all the army for the Suez Canal front, and after the front, it was a counter-attack army, which was the 4th Brigade of the Armed Forces. So, on the time at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the 6th of October, we had the 0 point of the attack, which have been attacked by the aircraft, bombardment all the way to Jabal al-Halal, Jabal al-Muna, and to al-Hasana. All the front was shivering from the bombardment of our air forces. And our howitzers, bombardment, they did a very big front in front from Ras Sadr up to El-Bardawil, El-Farma and El-Bardawil. So it was a very big line. So the army, on Yom Kippur, on the 6th of October, the Israeli armed forces was running in front of the Egyptian army up to El Arish. It was not a promenade. It was a casualty which we were expecting that we were going to lose approximately 5% casualties on the first attack. Never happened to be achieved 1%. That means it was a very good tactic, and
1% out of the expected
out of the expected ratio of the casualties of the Egyptian army. And we swept the Barleaf War to the extent that the Israeli was speaking in Arabic to the Egyptian officer, Usama Sadiq in Ismailia, by al-Ballah, Egyptian army officer, we would like to negotiate with you. Osama Sadiq, he was a major Osama Sadiq by this time. So it happened that we made the first range of battle after the Barley Fall. We entered, the Egyptian army entered to Jabal al-Muna and Ras Sadr al-Hitan up to al-Bardawil, and we made, the Egyptian army made the first base of the achievement, and after that the military engineering came and put the bridges, and the supplies flew over to the Egyptian army. So the Egyptian army was settled 24 hours from the beginning. On the 7th of October, we were waiting for them, occupied. We already had our half island of Sinai.
It was almost 24 hours for the full control.
24 hours, but you can imagine that means on Yom Kippur and the armed forces and supplied by the American supplies come to El Arish, and they came out of the history of the armed forces. That means the supplies was coming by aeroplane. Should the tanks, the battle tanks, the M45 and 41, they were coming out of the aeroplane on the chain, coming down. It's not done according to the technique of the, so it have been 100% new tanks supplied. To the extent we are coming to the 22nd of October. This is the 22nd, the situation of the 22nd of October. The enemy coming from the Mithla, in the middle, from the Mithla passage, and they try to come through Sadr al-Hitan to Ras Sadr, but we stopped them from here, and they start to come from El Arish through the northern coast, and they stopped at El Farma 100%. That means the situation was saturated for the first time. This was the 22nd of October. But the plan, our plan, which is the military plan, was done is using the Little Heart method, which we are coming from El Suez and Port Said and Ismailia and going through up to El Arish. But we have some kind of difficulties, but we are saturated at this point between Sadr al-Hitan, Jabal al-Muna, and El Farma and El Bardawil. This is the first time. But I turn back and would like to say about our heroes, real heroes in the Egyptian army. You can call our late General Madkour Abu al-Aiz, on 1969, who gave the Israelis a battle and gave them a beat. They were not going to forget it all their lives, and they consider him as a criminal of war, because initiatively he made an air raid. We have a lot of names, heroes' names, like Mr. Rifai, General Rifai, General Salah Khairi, still living, and our General Hassan al-Agizi, al-Halafawi, late al-Halafawi. Most of them dead, but God bless them. Salah Khairi is still here, and our Professor Hassan al-Agizi is still here. This was October, which the Egyptians defeated themselves recently. And this is the spirit of the war which is existing right now under the actual management of the most disciplined association in this country, which is the armed force.
Yes, this brings us to a very important point. Thank you very much for telling us this story, which is very important to be heard. With this situation, like I mentioned, we still have the spirit of fighting for Egyptian fighting for their rights. Is this any special of 6th of October anniversary given the circumstances today?
If you're going to say that we are, today is the 6th of October, going to be the 40th anniversary of the Egyptian defeating themselves, yes, it is a point and stood and a point to sit and to look to it and to look what General Ahmad Wasfi is facing right now in half island of Sinai. It's a very big challenge in front of him right now. It's not studying the land, because we know the land as our palm, but is to come and to defeat and to make some kind of precaution to save lives and our equipment. This is what we are having right now in October. And training. There was some kind of lenient attitude of the officers, small officers, and the drafted soldiers, which was happened in last year in the frontier, which the Israeli came and killed our 14 officers on the 6th of October on this time of a period. So this officer was lenient, and the soldier was dealing with some of their undevoted traitors of this country from their own village in Asyut. So it happened, and this is a lesson we are taking to learn from it. Right now, the Egyptian army is much more disciplined and wisely prepared for any wrong movement from anybody right now, because we are expecting that we were going to have a beat back or a bite back. A bite back, that means some kind of traitor things have been manufactured.
Do you think this is happening now with the situation in Sinai?
No, it's okay. I would like to say, this is under plan. They are planning. They are planning, and I don't think they're going to succeed in biting our back again, like what happened on the 6th of October last year by killing 15 soldiers on the frontier front. We will not, it's not, I hope it's not, but we are prepared, and there are information in the armed forces right now and in our intelligence hand that we are expecting something like that. It's going to happen. This. Of course, the army is one unit, but the problem is not the army. The disciplined army is not the army.
The Egyptians.
The people of the Egypt, the front, the inner front, who is supporting the army in the back, they are tired.
Yes. Do you think, sir, there is, from a strategist perspective, do you think there is a lot of burden today on the Egyptian army, given that they are supporting in this transition period and they are in locations internally rather than on front lines, and also given the lot of political aspects and political challenges in the country, there are concerns and fears around the stretch of the army's role, given there is a lot of threats, like you mentioned, when it comes to Sinai, and a lot of threats internally when it comes of the 6th of October anniversary and the plans for celebration for such a memorable day?
We are as officers or ex-officers in the army, we understand in one thing. The sacred land of Egypt, sacred. You must understand that Egypt is a sacred land among all the planet Earth. Egypt is sacred. This is, we learned it from the time of our old army officers on the time of Horus army, if you would like to say. This is, I would like to picture it in a frame of patriotism, understanding they are adoring the land.
Yes.
Right now, you are having people, they are saying, I don't care about Egypt, I care about Islam for first, or my beliefs. I don't think this is some kind of patriotism. The one who
it
does
should not be contradicting. If you're caring about your
it's
country,
contradicting the country. That means they are those people who are saying about their beliefs, they are calling for the beliefs before the country, as if they are calling, they are giving the word of what the enemy would like them to say inside the country. So they are the enemy representative among us, beside my neighbor, or whatever you're going to say. This is not patriotism. These are traitors to the land and traitors to the army. They are fighting back our army. And this I don't accept. This is among all the, it's not a historian or strategic expert or anything about the patriotism about the land. Who you are, from where you came from, what is your ancestor done to the planet Earth. If you don't understand this and you would like to say, I belong to something else, then we don't need you in that country.
Yes.
Even if you are Egyptian, even if you are Muslim. We don't need that.
Yes. So what are your expectations for the upcoming phase for Egypt? I always like to ask you this question.
Forget about stability of the land. The land will not going to be stable at all for the moment. There are a lot of challenges, and the challenges why the army or the armed forces is taking the front, because they would like to save their lives, the life of their children, and the materials they are having, the weapons they are having in their hand. So the political situation here on the country is under the finger of the around the world players to play with it. Like Ashton, she is here right now. She would like to have nothing to do with Europe at all. She is giving us a message from the CIA of the United States of America. They would like to have the land saturated because our enemy, our neighbor enemy, I'm saying the Israelis, have a development plan, and they would like to have their land in Hebrew kosher to take the Palestinians outside. And the only people in the world accepting them is the Egyptians by the late Mohammed Morsi regime.
Yes, we'll have to stop here. We'd like to continue that, but just take a short break. I'll be returning back for more.
published on
Welcome back. You're still watching Nile Cruise, and I'm still joined with Major General Magdy Yusuf, historian and strategist. Once again, I'd like to continue this important part about your expectations for the upcoming phase for Egypt.
When Hillary Clinton said we have the right to contact the Muslim brothers without passing by the military council, she did it already and she signed for. Signed for was the Muslim brother represented by Mohammed Morsi, and Mohammed Morsi is a traitor. And we're going to be condemned as a traitor soon. So, for what? What the agreement, what they agreed upon is Rafah and El Arish as an alternative situation and land for the Palestinians. And they accepted, the Muslim brothers, Khairat al-Shatir accepted it and signed for, and he cashed it. The 8 million on the 4th of October 2011, 2 years back. So this has happened, and on the last 6th of October, the past 6th of October, Mohammed Morsi, when he's having this assassinator of El Sadat, Mr. What his name is?
I even forgot his name. It's good to forget so.
It's okay. Zomor.
Zomor, yes.
Zomor assassinated, and he put him in El Sadat car. This is a discrimination of our history and dignity as Egyptian, made by an Egyptian. His name is Mohammed Morsi. Full stop. So this agreement is valid till today for Israel and United States. And they are giving Ashton to test what is the pulse, what's going to happen.
But just for the sake of time, can you briefly just tell us, how are you thinking about the upcoming phase?
Oh, it's not going to be saturated. The army is prepared for any, the armed force for any unexpected situation here. The political, the Egyptians are fighting with each other for the bread, and most of them, the traitors who are going to be the public, under the public assembly, they would like to have the list, and the other one would like to have the individual. And here are the fingers of the Mossad and the CIA are playing inside the country right now for this politics. Right now, this is the depth. Yes, it has been poured a lot of money. So the list, yes, I would like to be the head of the list, so I can take money to put some people of the Muslim brother under my cover to come again through the back door to the public assembly.
Major General, unfortunately for time's sake, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us. It has been a great pleasure to have you with us this special day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At your service anytime.
With events escalating ups and downs on the region and also on the international levels, we present you with the highlights of this week's news with our correspondent, Noor Hussein.